Puig 2 for 2 tonight. Couple of singles. He's scored a run. He's knocked in a run. And Dave Roberts now coming out. After one pitch was thrown. What do you think?
I don't know. Asking what's going on still with the changes.
And on-plate umpire Lance Barrett seems to think whatever Dave Roberts is saying is at least worthy of a discussion.
Looking at the lineup card.
Whatever it is, you know Bob Guerin had an opinion about it within the rule book. Whatever the rule is, he had it down.
Yes, he is a genius when it comes to the rule book.
He's got an extra look in his eye right now, Bob does. Smells blood in the water. So it looked like they had signaled that they wanted to put Yasiel Puig on. Even took a couple steps in that direction, and then they stopped. And he said, no, instead, I want to make a double switch. And after the first pitch was thrown by the new pitcher, Dave Roberts came out with a very specific argument. Bad news usually when they head to your dugout first. And they're headed over to talk to Paul Molitor. It's a situation where it would be nice if one of the umpires was mic'd up like in the NFL, right, to be able to deliver some kind of an explanation to the stadium. Yasiel seems really bothered by it all.
It looks like they're disagreeing. They're saying what's on the official scorecard is not up on the stadium scorecards that are up in the right field board as you see the Minnesota lineup.
Dodgers pride themselves on knowing the rules better than anybody. Something they talk about really early on during spring training. Bob Guerin first and foremost leading that charge. And you can see it in his eyes. He thinks he's got him on one here. And I wish I could give you more. I just don't know what the loophole would be here that they're looking for.
I have no idea what they're looking at other than what Paul told the umpires verbally as far as the change, and then the Dodgers are told of the change is completely different than what we assumed he was making as a change. As we look up at the scoreboard and you see that you've got all the names in one place, they are saying that disagrees with what it was verbally told the umpires, and I think that was then reported to Dave Roberts and Bob Guerin, and then when they Twins threw a pitch, they said, well, they've got the guys in the wrong place.
we're going to have a detailed explanation for you tomorrow on this.
Well, we're going to get Guerin.
For sure. Make sure you carve out a few minutes.
Because Bobby will have all the details. He's amazing. He has an app on his phone that will tell you, like, just challenge you on the rule book.
Right.
So he can just keep pushing it, challenge, and then answer it, and then hear the answer, then do it again and again and again.
Paperwork error, it's starting to look like.
Most of the games that Molitor manages doesn't have to deal with double switches, doesn't have to deal with any of this, because in the American League it's pretty much straight up, and you just take your pitcher out when you want to take him out. And it doesn't change their batting order at all because you got the DH. Usually this challenge falls on the bench coaches. That's what Bob Guerin does for Dave Roberts. The fans are starting to get restless now.
I think it's cool. Wonder what he thinks.
The Tommy Lasorda autograph right there on the back.
See, here's the problem. We're not really going to know what this discussion was about. There's no line of communication from the field to the stands.
Now Paul's asking, can I cross the line? Is this a visit?
Right. So he goes right to Adrianza, who was just put in the game in the double switch.
Now he's taking out the left fielder. Rosario.
So Rosario, yeah, I mean, I just read his lips. He said, "Oh my God, what?" Rosario was in left. Him and Dozier trying to figure it out on his way by. He's headed back into the dugout. They put Adrianza in left now. You ain't getting this by Bobby G, that's for sure. Hey, Puig, you're up.
Sooner or later.
Mid at bat, Yasiel Puig, I think, just took a bathroom break. So that's where we are. Delay's been over 8 minutes now. Commissioner on the phone. Alana, what are you hearing?
Guys, when Dave Roberts walked over to the dugout on this most recent trip, he basically looked at Bob Guerin and said, "Call the official score." Then as the umpiring crew came over to the bench, that's what one of the umpires was saying, was to call the score, and Dave wanted him to do that. And they said, we're talking to the official score right now. I'm assuming that that's what's happening.
Ed Munson, the official score tonight. So it looks like at the very least they have lost Eddie Rosario from some kind of clerical error, some kind of mistake from Paul Molitor perhaps in the way that he executed the double switch. It's been 10 minutes since the count went to 1-0 on Yasiel Puig. Really having a nice chance to think about what might be coming in the next pitch.
It's got to be a very abstract thing that happened for them to take this long to figure it out. Had to be a communication issue as far as what Molitor told the umpires and what the umpires then told the Dodgers, and then that was verified, and something was done, that some kind of illegal substitution. Normally this happens just with a batting out of order, but the Dodgers are the ones on offense. So it's not a batting out of order situation at all. It has something to do with the double switches the Minnesota Twins have made.
Ehire Adrianza, who is a product of whatever's happening here, it appears is going to play left field, has played a total of 4 innings in the outfield in his career. So this was not the plan.
Well, maybe he verbalized Rosario was the double switch, and Adrianza was coming in, and all of a sudden he mispronounced the names or something. He just got it. So I don't understand how Rosario ends up out of the game.
The longer this goes, the less I want to get Bob Guerin's description. Just going to be honest with you, because it's going to be really multi-layered, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be great because you're going to get what actually happens, and you're going to get all the different things that they thought should have happened, but he's going to tell you why it was wrong, and he's very, very good. He's even explaining it to Dave Roberts.
Bob Guerin does have a managing background in Oakland. 2007 through 2011. And 4 years as the Mets bench coach before coming over last year. Played for 5 years in the big leagues, mostly as a backup catcher. Made his major league debut after 10 seasons fighting away in the minors, and played with the Yankees for a few years, the Padres for one, team that originally drafted him. He was a first-round pick back in the late 1970s out of his hometown of San Diego.
Bob is emphatically telling guys what he thinks should happen, and I would take Bob in a contest over the umpires on the rule book.
And that's no knock on the umpires.
No, he is just meticulous on every single thing.
Our Lexus player of the game is Bob Guerin.
If you just tuned to the channel and you're wondering what's going on here, there's a rules infraction as far as the lineup is concerned by the Minnesota Twins. and the umpires are trying to figure out who's in and who's out.
Well, this has been something. They say that you go to the ballpark, do it every day, and you might see something new every time. This is new.
Yeah, it's got to be a communication problem with Paul Molitor to the umpires, and then once they made the verbal of what was going to happen, but what physically happened was something different. The Dodgers allowed the Twins to throw a pitch and then enlightened the umpires that what we were told and what you were told did not physically happen on the field. So now you have to go back and fix it, and the umpires are trying to figure out how do they fix it and who should be removed and who should bat in what portion of the order.
So what the argument appears to be, basically, from Dave Roberts and Bob Guerin and the Dodgers, is that with that one pitch thrown by Presley, the Twins
played with the wrong players on the field.
Yeah. Based on what Paul Molitor had
based
said.
on what the official lineup card would be, by what Molitor said was going to happen, didn't happen.
So then the question becomes, what is the penalty for it? Who has to leave based on it?
It sounds like Rosario was the one that was verbalized by Molitor to say that's who the double switch is with. He stayed on the field. Adrianza came in for Polanco and played short, and the pitcher came in, and they're trying to figure out what the penalty is and where are people hitting. Hopefully they will clear it up for everyone.
Well, again, I hate that we can't be more knowledgeable on what's going on, but it's a small fundamental problem that the game has, where there is no way to let the crowd know exactly what's been talked about.